Good evening and welcome to the WDSU News Hot Seat. I'm Travers Mackel. They're calling it a global plea deal. Former Saints safety Darren Sharper is expected to be in both federal and state court this week to finalize plea deals on rape and drug distribution charges right here in New Orleans. It comes after he cut similar plea deals and pleaded guilty to rape charges in Los Angeles, Las Vegas, and Tempe, Arizona. Sharper's plea deal calls for the 39-year-old to spend 9 years behind bars on rape charges. He's been in jail for 12 months already. He'll also plead guilty and be sentenced on drug charges in federal court. That sentence, though, will not exceed 9 years. Joining us on the panel tonight to discuss the Sharper case are Rebecca Rainey with Metro Women's Shelter, Mike Kahn, a former NOPD detective and security expert, and Robert Jenkins, a defense attorney and legal analyst. Rebecca, let's start off with you. I'm going to read a quote from former Saints player Scott Fujita. It says, "Look, I'm a dad of 3 daughters. If he, being Sharper, ends up only serving 9 years, it's an absolute shame. It's way too short." What is your reaction to the sentence where it looks like Sharper's only going to do about a decade in jail?
For the sentence for a serial rapist, yes, 9 years is very short. From an advocate standpoint, you have these survivors who are not going to have to testify or go through the years of a trial, and they have their rapist who's admitted guilt. And that's a positive spin on this.
Some people are going to say it's a negative. They're going to say, how does a guy who just pled guilty in 4 states do a decade in jail?
I don't know. That I can't answer to. I can answer to and speak to from survivors going through trials and the traumatic experience that is and the re-traumatization of that and the fact that they don't have to testify. You know, you have to look at some sort of light. If this is how it's going to go down, then that's the positive spin that we have to take on this.
Mike, you were a police officer for a long time. Los Angeles, Sharper pled no contest to simple rape, 20 years, but he's eligible for parole in half. Tempe, Arizona, he pled guilty to sexual assault, attempted sexual assault, 9 years. Las Vegas, guilty on attempted sexual battery, 8 years. It's our understanding that this plea deal will fall in line with those. From a law enforcement standpoint, do former cops or do cops sit back and say, you know what, the guy's going to do some jail time, we got him here in New Orleans?
No, on a case like this with this many victims, you really would hope that those years would all run after one another. So in this situation, you would hope that he would do his time in LA, he would do his time in Arizona, and then also do his time in New Orleans. One deal with it all combined is way too short for the evidence they have in this case.
From a legal standpoint, Robert, what happens in court on Monday and Tuesday? We've seen it before in the other 3 states. Is it very procedural where he just pleads guilty?
Very procedural where he'll come in, he'll admit his guilt. The judge will read him what we call a Boykin, colloquy, and he'll admit all those things, and then the judge will sentence him apparently to run concurrent with the other charges. You know, we've been hearing different things about 9 years, 10 years, but it's my understanding that it's going to be a 20-year plea, and he'll work down from there by cooperating and testifying against others. And that's how he may get down to 9, 10, 11, or 12 years. But she's absolutely correct. One of the things that happens is, and I'll make it short, the victims don't have to come in and testify. And then if he had gone to trial and found guilty, he had time to appeal, and they're still going through the appellate process. So they cut all of that out.
Mike, you're a former police officer that's dealt with victims before, and especially victims with sensitive issues like this. I'm going to read a statement from the DA, Leon Canizera, that he put out about 2 weeks ago. It says, "This plea constitutes a complete vindication of these victims as well as their truthfulness." Is this a hard experience for victims to go through when you deal with them as a police officer, knowing that their stories have been questioned and people have said, are these women really telling the truth? Turns out now they were telling the truth from the start.
Sure, it's very difficult in that once they have the crime happen to them, the rape, they have to relive it again in every statement they give. Every time they're cross-examined, they have to relive it. They have people going through their personal lives, asking if they wore a dress that was too short or if they were hanging out at this bar for a particular reason. So they relive the entire incident once again. In a situation like this, you want to make it as easy as possible. So by him accepting the plea, it does stop them from having to go to court, which makes it easier on them. And we have to remember there are 2 other people involved in this. So his testimony would also put those other 2 people in jail.
When it comes to victims, Rebecca, let's stay on this topic of the victims. What kind of message does this send to women out there? I mean, I know you touched on the fact that prosecutors can say, hey, you know, we got him. We got a guy who is now a known serial rapist. He's going to do a decade in jail. But does it send a bad message for women who want to come forward that say, yeah, you know, this was really high profile, and should I come forward?
I mean, I hope it wouldn't send that message. I think the fact that there's 3 other states involved and there's federal and state prosecutors involved have a huge effect on the sentence. I would hope that the fact that these women are seeing that he has pled and he has admitted guilt, and that although it is an extremely short sentence, ridiculously short sentence, that they feel some justice, that he is going to serve some time in prison.
Is it hard, Robert, for victims when they have a perpetrator, a serial rapist, if you will, like Darren Sharper, who's now pled in 3 states and is set to plead in the 4th, who is so high profile, who is so wealthy?
Well, it's very difficult because with the assets that he had, you can put on a very good defense. You can hire experts, and Mike is right. When they get on the witness stand, they're reliving what they had gone through, and the defense attorney is going to do everything he can to discredit them. So the whole point is that high profile with the money, you can put on a good defense, and it affects the victim.
Let's talk about the other defendants, Eric Nunez and Brandon Licciardi. Mike, this is the only state, the only jurisdiction where 2 other people are charged in connection with Darren Sharper. This case isn't over yet after Sharper pleas, because you still have these other 2 defendants who were charged with very, very serious, horrible crimes here as well.
Correct. And you can believe that part of Sharper's deal was to testify against them, give up very incriminating evidence that locks them into being at those places and committing those crimes. You know, the other side is once he's pled guilty to this, it also makes it a little bit easier in a civil lawsuit as well. So these victims now have an open door to a civil suit once he's pled.
If you could talk about that, Robert, do you expect civil suits in Nevada, California, Arizona, and Louisiana to be filed by the victims?
Without a doubt. Probably some has already been filed, but I expect them to file. The restitution is going to come. And you know what generally happens when you talk about serial rapists, and you know this better than me, there are other victims out there who are going to at least feel good that he's off the street. And that's what happens in these cases.
Does this put it to bed for the victims? I mean, obviously, these women were victimized here by Darren Sharper based on his admission of guilt in 3 states, and is soon to be what we expect to be admission of guilt here in Louisiana. What happens next for these women? Can they put this to bed? Can they put this behind them? And how difficult of a process is something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it'll ever be put to bed. It's just one less thing off their plate. Now, hopefully, maybe now they can focus on themselves and their recovery and get some support and maybe give support to others.
You all have been very involved in something like this. Do you expect any of the local victims to go to court, to participate, to look this man in the eyes and say anything to him?
I would hope so. We encourage people to do that. It's very powerful to give your impact statement, to go into court and to look your accuser in the eye, or not your accuser, your offender, especially when he's admitting.
If you could talk about that, Mike. I mean, you've sat through numerous court trials and court cases involving people like this. Does the victims being there go a long way when it comes to a sentence, even though it may be a formality here because it's a plea deal, but does that go a long way in their healing as well as the criminal justice process?
Well, it's 2 parts. Again, the victim impact statements do go a long way with the judge and what the judge is going to determine. In this case, it's already predetermined, but it's a lot of the healing process for the victim to know that they took a stand. They didn't just let this person walk over them, and they actually put this person in jail for what they did.
Did this come as a surprise, Robert, in the legal community, that he was able to cut what's known as a global plea deal here? 4 jurisdictions, 4 states. He's going to do what appears to be about a decade in prison. But did this come as a shock to the legal community that you had 4 prosecutors on the same page allowing him to take plea deals?
Without a doubt. We didn't see it coming. We all were surprised about it. And the behind the scenes would put it together, but no one thought this would happen this quickly, or ever thought it would happen at all.
Legal analyst and defense attorney Robert Jenkins, security expert and former NOPD officer Mike Kahn, and Rebecca Rainey with the Metro Center for Women and Children. We appreciate your time. Darren Sharper will be in court on Monday, in federal court, and in state court on Tuesday. We'll obviously have complete coverage as he is expected to plead guilty to drug distribution and to forcible rape charges.